Shalom, shalom. Adon Ratazah, Yahal Ratazah. You're edified by this camp session. Salakia for the news, for the noise in the background. But Adon Ratazah, Yahal Ratazah, you find this camp session edifying. Before we get started, we'll turn to the east and give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakadah. Double honors to the head apostles of Great Millstone, who do rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom to the elders and the other bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect, the men, women, and children, listening and learning from the servants of prophecy, Yahweh Bashim Shai, and a hearty shalom to the sincere brethren all around the globe, doing the work in truth and sincerity, spread across the four winds of the earth, giving diligence to make their calling and election sure. Shalom, shalom. So we'll jump right into news articles and relate them to biblical prophecy, go into the precepts, and we'll just rock from there. So we'll start off with the first article that came out, and we're going to bring our articles, and we're going to go into the scriptures and expound on those articles. Adon Ratazah, Yahal Ratazah, you find this camp session edifying. And we may go into a few other topics as the spirit, flows. Give the source of the news article, and then the date, and then the first paragraph, and then the Reuters.
This is Reuters. Be ready to lose all your money in crypto. EU regulators warn.
Give the date.
March 17, 2022. March 17, 2022.
We got header again, brother Sean.
Be ready to lose all your money in crypto. EU regulators warn.
Yep. So you can see an end is come upon the land as far as Babylon the Great. You have all these nations binding together to slowly but surely crash the petrodollar, which is going to cause America to crumble, man. Let's go to the first paragraph of the article, brother Sean.
This is the first paragraph. London Reuters. Consumers risk losing all their money invested in crypto assets.
Yep.
And can all fall prey to scams, and European Union securities, banking, and insurance watchdogs said in a joint statement on Thursday.
Yep. So you have a lot of countries, El Salvador, Jamaica, Ukraine, launching central bank digital currencies and regulating those currencies, issuing executive orders, passing down, laws and so on and so forth, regulating those currencies because they're about to hit people with the bait and switch. Let's go into that first, the picture that I sent you. The picture that I sent you. Came on IG.
Say goodbye to that bag. Project Sandman describes 100+ nations agreement that, when triggered, will see those nations simultaneously dump the dollar.
Yep, so you have a lot of nations banding together to dump the petrodollar. You have Saudi Arabia, China, and about 98 other nations banding together to crash the petrodollar, which is going to cause America to fall. Because America's stronghold the past 60 years has been the ability to punk people through military sanctions, through military action, bombing, and so on and so forth, into using the American currency, the American dollar, as the golden standard of currency for the world, aka the petrodollar. So let's read a little more of that. Can you read up a little louder, like I need it?
We'll see those nations simultaneously dump the dollar and abandon the petrol.
Yep.
Status that has allowed the USA to enjoy 50 years of fiat currency, counterfeiting and material abundance at the expenses of everyone else. When this decision is triggered, the dollar will all be denominated asset will plunge to near zero literally overnight.
Yep, it's called hyperinflation, and eventually the currency crashes. Let's go into a precept real quick. This is Ezekiel 7 and 19. I can get Proverbs 11 and 4 with a shot to this. This is Ezekiel 7 and 19, and it reads, "They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of wrath of Yahweh Bashim Shai." And the scriptures say, riches profit not in the day of wrath, man. You have a lot of these people thinking that they have a safety net or a safety plan out of, the financial crash of America through Bitcoin, Dogecoin, all these digital currencies. But they're going to find out that these currencies are going to be regulated by the federal government, man. you know, and those currencies are going to crash. And they're going to introduce something right after that, man. And that's something that they're going to introduce is the MOTB. Before World War III, you got to have the MOTB. And they're setting up the MOTB infrastructure right in your face, man. If you can see it, you know. This, I'm going to finish this precept, brother. This is Ezekiel 7 and 19. And Salaki, you got Jake in the background, you know, Kenny G in the spirit, you know. He over there kicking it, you know. That's the soundtrack for that, you know. While we're singing this new song, I don't rap this out, how rap this out, you get edified. And Salaki for the lack of a camera stand, we're using what we got. This is Ezekiel 7 and 19, and it reads, "They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of wrath of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bells, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity." You know, riches profit not in the day of wrath, and it says the love of money is the root of all evil. It's also known that money is a defense, you know, but you have people who are going to do what for the love of money? They're going to pierce themselves through with that karak and put graphos in them. They're going to prepare themselves. You know, let's get there real quick. This is 1 Timothy 6 and 10, and it reads, "For love is the root, for love of money, for the love of money is the root of all evil." The love of money. You know, people are going to sell themselves out. You have a lot of people with fringes on and 501c3 charters who sold themselves out, who are muzzled. They have a gag order. You know, they're set up to lead you astray. They're dumb dogs that cannot bark, man. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, who the world knows is God Jesus, has set up true watchmen, man, to give you warning, man. You know, of the calamities that are set to come, the perils that are set to come. You know, and also give you the good news, man. You know, if your ears can hearken, if your eyes can see, you know, if your ears can hear, if your ears can discern and actually pick up what's being brought out. The good news is that salvation's on the way, man. Rest is on the way, man. You know, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to remove all tears. But before that happens, you have to have all hell breaking loose, man. You know, dollars crashing, people taking to the streets, you know, no regards for their kings and princes. You know, World War III. Them drafting men and women getting ravished, you know, men crying like little bitches, you know. All these things are going to happen. All these things are set to happen. And that's what we're coming to the streets to give warning of, you know. Give them warning for me, you know. Son of man, I made thee a watchman to the house of Israel, you know. This is and all the men of the Lord are all around the globe doing this, man, you know. And this is a work. This is a work. This is a powerful work, man. You know, that men are all around the globe and different countries speaking different languages, singing the same song, you know? Just like you got Jake back there, you know, bumping the SWV, man, you know? This is the book of 1 Timothy 6 and 10, and it reads, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." The love of money is the root of all evil, you know? Those people who are going to take the digital man, you know, for the love of money, what are they going to do? For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, and we're not supposed to covet. That goes back to the law. They have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. And if you go to that word pierce, it's papero. And it means to penetrate through entirely, to penetrate through, to puncture. And what do you have to have done in your body when you get the MOTB? You got to have the karaks to institute the karagma, which is going to put graphos inside you. A device to store your everything. You know, we don't want to get too into the topic because that's what the last channel got here. But let's go into Proverbs 11 and 4, Baba Deshaun.
This is Proverbs 11 and 4. "Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death."
Yep, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death. This gospel, man, ultimately Yahushua, man, you know, the author and finisher of our faith. You know, the angels of the Lord encamped around them that feared him and delivered them, man. You know, this is Ezekiel 7 and 1, and it reads, "Moreover, the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua came unto me, saying, How shalt thou, son of man, thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to the land of Israel." And that's what the men of the Lord are all around saying, all around the globe saying. thus said Yahweh Shemiah Shai, not brother, not thus said brother Ashamat, thus said brother, Zion Amat, not thus said the elders and apostles, thus said the scriptures, thus says the prophecies, thus said Yahweh Shemiah Shai. This is Ezekiel 7:1. Moreover, the word of Adonai Yahweh came unto me, saying, Also thou son of man, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemiah Shai, power unto the land of Israel. And the end is come upon the four corners of the land. And the end is come upon the four corners of the land. The end of Edomite supremacy, man. The end of the heathens reigning 1 hour with the beast, man. And that's the good news. That's good news to us. We can't wait to see this devil get crushed, man. This prideful man, that's went around infesting everybody else with his wine, getting everybody drunk off his philosophies, man. You got Jake over there looking effeminate as hell. Men walking up and down the strip with painted fingernails and whatnot, man. These people in it was a state, I want to say it's Florida or Georgia. They just passed a law. It's like if I don't have the state right, but I got the information memorized as far as what they did. They passed a law that allows them to kill babies up to 28 days after they've been born, man. That's plain wickedness, man. That's why this place needs to be burned thoroughly, man. Cleansed thoroughly, man. This is Ezekiel 7:3, and it reads, Now is the end come upon thee, and now will I send my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and recompense upon thee all thine abominations. Well, what does it say about Babylon the Great? Revelation 17, real quick. Let's go to the next article. This is Revelation 17, and it reads, I'll get right to the point. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. And that woman is talking about Babylon the Great, And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. And that's talking about the wine and philosophy that Esau Edom pushes. Can you get Habakkuk 2? We'll start with 1 down to 5. He transgresses by wine. That's talking about Esau Edom,
Habakkuk 2 and 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
Yep, and that's what the prophets do in the ancient world. And the watchmen would do, better yet. They would watch the city to watch out for any danger that's coming upon the land, And they would give warning. They would blow a trumpet, if, for different type of warnings. A war warning, there was a trumpet for that, so on and so forth. Let's keep it going.
And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it.
He may run that readeth it. That's understanding the scriptures. Write the vision and make it plain upon tables. What's the vision? The prophecies, which are full-fledged in front of your face. Great famine, the oil shortage, also the vegetable oil shortage. These people looking to introduce regulated currencies and digitalizing currencies, virtual assets, is what they call them, universal basic income in the Ukraine as war assistance. That's them saying peace and safety, and that's them giving you that little assistance, man, so they can snatch the rug from under your feet, man. Keep it going.
For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
Yep, the vision is yet for an appointed time. Everything has to be fulfilled in a set measure. 2nd Ezra 4th chapter.
But at the end it shall speak.
Yep, at the end it shall speak. And it's speaking loud and clear, man. We can see these things,
And not lie.
Not lie. Yahweh Shemiah Shai is not a man that he should lie, man.
Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
Yep, and tarry means to slack, to carry on, to not happen right away. That's why the scriptures say, here's the patience and the faith of the saints. This is 2nd Ezra 4, I'm going to get 37. I think it's about 37. Yep. 2nd Ezra 4:36. And unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, Even the number of seeds is filled in you, for he has weighed the world in the balance. And that reminds me of Daniel the 5th chapter. Thou art weighed in the balances, and thou art found wanting, insufficient. This is 2nd Ezra 4 and 37. By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until their said measure be fulfilled. And the time of the Gentiles is just about fulfilled, man. That's why Esau Edom's hurt. Brothers' channels are getting flagged and terminated at an all-time high. RT News is banned in a lot of places. Russia's making up their own version of Instagram. China has blocked literally every single form of social media. And also they're starting to come with that accusation. Domestic terrorism. You see the transcripts of brothers' lessons, man. Because Esau Edom, he's getting ready to come with a great accusation, man. And also, we're accusing this devil, man. The accuser of thy brethren is cast down, man. This is let's go to the next article. Let me finish Revelation 17. This is Revelation 17. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And purple goes into royalty, That's why you see the IUIC, they're dressed in all purple. It's symbolic of royalty, man. Because Esau, he's in his reign right now. But he's soon to be cast down. Those proud princes, man, are soon to be cast down. And that's the good news. That's the report. This is and it's comforting knowing that. We may be laughing, we may be chuckling amongst each other because we're in comfort knowing that this man has an end. A lot of our people are walking up and down the strip, dazed, confused, lost in the sauce. They don't know what to trust about Esau Edom in the news. They don't know what to do. They don't have the comforter, man. But you can come into this word, to this truth, and be comforted, man. Because Yahweh is the comforter, the word. Revelation 17 and 5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Yep. And this place is the mother of abominations, man. This place, Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America, pushes wickedness throughout the whole earth, man, and gets everybody drunk off that wickedness. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Finish that up.
Habakkuk 2 and 4.
Yep.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. You can read about that in the book of Obadiah. That he that dwells in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is on high. That's talking about a nation of people. That's talking about the Edomites. The book of Obadiah is written, and it talks about about the judgment of the nation of Esau Edom, which is a nation of people, aka the so-called white men. So keep on going.
But the just shall live by his faith.
The just shall live by his faith. And who is the law, statutes, the commandments, the covenants, the promises given to? The children of Israel. Let's go to 2 and 5. That's the point right here.
Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine.
Transgresseth by wine. It's not talking about actual physical wine. It's talking about philosophy. It's his way of life. This man is upside down. Let me get this real quick. Isaiah 29 and 16. This is the prophet Yeshaya. Isaiah 29 and 16. And it reads, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. And you can read about the potter's clay in that parable in the book of Romans, the 9th chapter. Also in the book of Sirach, the 33rd chapter, I believe. We went over that last night a little bit. This is Isaiah 29 and 16. Also, woe unto him that striveth against his maker. Isaiah 45 and 9. I get that. I'm in Isaiah. Okay. Yeah, this is Isaiah 29 and 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed of the potter's clay, as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed of him say that framed it, he had no understanding, and that's what this man does. You know, by putting the Rainbow Coalition into office. You know, it was I think it was I forgot what news publication. I was just reading it and going through Instagram, and I was going through Facebook, the YouTube feed. It was talking about the training that they have in office is the so-called Woman of the Year for a certain, I forgot what publication, maybe U.S. Weekly. You know, that thing that's in office as the health coordinator, as the health officer, is the Woman of the Year. That's Esau Edom thumbing his nose up at the Heavenly Father, man. You know? Isaiah 5 and 20, real quick. You got the next article for there. Isaiah 5 and 20. There goes the candy. Smooth jazz. This is Isaiah 5 and 20, and it reads, "Woe unto them that call evil good, and good evil, that put darkness for light, and light for darkness." And what is this place known as? The shadow of death, man. The land of gross darkness, you know? You know? This is Isaiah 5 and 20, and it reads, "Woe unto them that call evil good, and good evil, that put darkness for light, and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter." This man's completely backwards, man. And that's why we can't wait to see this devil taken into power, man. You know, we can't wait to see these proud princes cast down. You know, we can't wait to slap some chains on Esau Edom and beat him, man. Just like he beat us during slavery, man. You know, to be chopping his head off, man. You know? But right now, this word is chopping his head off. But eventually, he's going to have them chains thrown on him, man. And he's going to be thrown into slavery, man. You know? For sure, the several prophecies in the scriptures, man. And then Obadiah 1 and 18 is going to happen, man. You know? This is Isaiah 45 and 9. Real quick. Yep. And it goes into, Isaiah 45 and 9. "Woe unto him that striveth against his maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, What makest thou? Or thy work, he had no hands." And that's what this man does when he comes up with the Big Bang Theory. You know, civilization started 5 million years ago. You know, yeah, you know, creation started 5 million years ago, and then civilization started with the Greeks. He skips over everybody else right now. You know, that's the pride of this man. You know, the pride of thy heart had deceived you. You know, let's get that, man. Let's go into Obadiah. You know, let's get that next article. We'll go to Obadiah simultaneously. You got the next article? Yeah. Okay. Wait till the convoy passes by.
This is Interfax, Ukraine, posted on the 6th, posted on the 3rd of 2022. Yep. Payment of UAE. Want to read that a little louder, bro? Can I do it with you? How do you say that? Payment of $5,600. Want to read it a little louder? Give the date and the source that the article came from. This is Interfax by Ukraine.
Yep.
Posted. What is that?
Yeah, the 6th of March, 2022.
For those who lost their jobs due to war to begin next week, payment of
Payment of $6,500.
For those who lost their jobs due to war to begin next week.
Yep. So it says payment of $6,500 for those who lost their jobs due to war beginning next week. Well, what are these elites been talking about? You know, the Davos agenda, you know, Klaus Schwab and company. Well, they want to institute a universal basic income. You know, you shall own nothing and be happy. You're going to depend on Daddy, Uncle Sam, Daddy government, you know, Daddy wicked elites. You know, that's what they want. They want complete control over you, man. But the first step towards doing that is attacking your finances. attacking the financial structure of all the nations, man, crippling the economies and then crashing them, man, and then instituting something as a substitute for fiat currency, you know, and that something that's the substitute is the MOTB, Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 15th verse. You know what book we're talking about? Revelation, I almost said it. The 13th chapter and the 16th verse, you know? And what's happening right now is they're in the final stages of the 15th chapter, the 15th verse, of the 13th chapter. You know, that phase of, you know, giving life to the image, you know, before the institute, the charagma, you know, the stamp, you know, and a part of the image is Christianity, his way of life, you know, iconoclasm, Caesar Borgia worship, you know, pushing abominations, you know, having women rule over men, equality, you know, men and women are equal, man, you know, it's just a fact, you know, calling good evil, you know what I'm saying, calling evil good. Let's get the first paragraph of that article, brother.
Prime Minister of Ukraine denies Shmuel says that the payment of $6,500 for those who have lost their jobs due to the war will begin next week.
Yep.
I appeal to the Ukrainians. The war came as a shock of all of us.
Yep. So not only are they looking to regulate, they just introduced something to regulate, and it was a law, I believe, to regulate central bank digital currencies, but they have universal basic income for people who've been affected by the war. Just like you had for people who were affected by the thing 2 years ago, and then they snatched everybody's rug from under their foot. That $600 or $450 or whatever they were getting there every week, $300 on top of the unemployment that they were getting. They're doing this in the Ukraine, you know?
Many have lost their homes, jobs, savings, but remain to befriend Ukraine.
Yep.
Today,
Go to that last picture. The last picture? The picture there. I sent you, bro. It's in there. Right there. Boom. Read that, brother.
after slavery and hundreds of years of oppression, America needs to study to figure out whether we get reparations, but it only took 24 hours for both the House and Senate to approve $13 billion in emergency aid for Ukraine.
Yep. So they don't want to give Jake nothing, man. You know, they castrated you. You know, butt broke you. They had carnival exhibits called "Hit the Nigger Baby." You know, they committed mass genocide against the so-called Native Americans. You know, damn near wiped them out. They took the land of Mexico. We're in the land of Mexico. California, you know, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. That's all Mexico, man. All the way up to Colorado, you know, and so on and so forth, man. You know, this man's a thief, man. Can you get Micah 2 and 1 and 2? You know? I'm right here. Right to Micah. I'm right in Micah. Can you get Lamentations, the 4th chapter, in about 20, 21? Lamentations 4 and 17. Let's start with 15 and see what it says. This is Micah 2 and 1, and it reads, "Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand." And why? Because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? Who's the wicked? Esau, Edom, man. You know? It calls them the nation of people against whom the Lord had indignation forever. It doesn't say the man, it says, and the people. That's how the Bible talks, man. The Bible doesn't play any games. It's written by the king of the universe. And he doesn't beat around the bush when it comes to calling people out. Like the elder Yashwama said, you get called out, Jack. You know, it's going to save the nation of people who did it, man. Let me get this real quick. Micah 2 and 1. "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields, and they take them by violence." And how they take America, man? Through the sword. Rape, robbery, murder, deceit. You know? He made 500 Amaleks, man. The tribe of Gad. He broke all of them, man. Because this bloodthirsty devil's a liar. He's the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. You know? They're the sons of the wicked. You have three classifications of people. You have the sons of God, Yasha Allah, prince of the power. You have the sons of men, which are the heathen nations. And then you got the sons of the wicked. Idumia, Adawan. Adawan means red. What did Esau come out? How did Esau come out? He came out red, man. How's this man like his meat? Bloody, red. You know, how did he get everything? Through violence, rape, robbery, murder. Through shedding blood in the ground, man. You know? That's why the scriptures say, blood shall pursue thee, man. You know? And that's how we got America, man. Through murder, thievery, deception. When Christopher Columbus got his tail behind over here, the first thing that he did was, you know, put that the tribe of Simeon, the so-called Dominicans in Hispaniola, to work. And what he started to make them do? Mine, gold, diamonds, so on and so forth. And if you didn't fulfill your quota, you know what he would do? He'd hack off your arm. He'd hack off your other arm. He'd hack off your leg. You know? He was raping the women, man. That's this man's nature. You know? And that's why it calls him the nation, the people against whom the Lord had righteous indignation forever, man. Forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever. This is Micah 2:1. Micah 2:2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You know? And that's what they did, man. You know? Still to this day, you know, they're calling us these bywords of Proverbs, and they're over in the Holy Land. The Lord ain't back. They're having people bomb them. They're bombing back. They're biting baby rock, reading out of a Babylonian Talmud, humping walls. Yep, gay parades with Israel, you know, Rainbow Coalition festivals and whatnot, man. And then if you say anything, you're anti, just read, bro. You're anti, you know what, you know? But who's Sem? Who's Sem? Our forefather's name was Shem, man. You know? Not Sem. You know, you won't find Sem anywhere in the Bible, man. But you will find Shem, you know, the son of Noah, man. You know?
Lamentations 4:17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Yep, and that nation that could not save us is Esau Edom. You know, the so-called white man, man. But you have a lot of people crying out to their daddy Esau, man. Government assistance. You got Eve. She made the video the other day, and she's talking about she couldn't get help from the government, cursing out the apostles and the elders, cursing out Esau. And she could be set up, you know, to, you know, make the truth look evil. You know, but there's no enchantment against Jacob. You can't do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. You know? Let's get 17 again from the top.
Lamentations 4:17. As for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Yep. A nation that could not save us. And that nation is the Edomites. Can you get 18 over the show?
They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets.
They hunt our steps so that we cannot go in our streets. You know? Every night, you turn into the news, you see a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American getting gunned down. And then Esau Edom gets off, he gets paid leave, and they throw a GoFundMe page, and the dude gets $500,000. And then they write a book, and then they're celebrating, you know? Then they get their own holiday, you know? You know? Let's get the next article, brother. Next article? Yeah. That's the theme of the camp session, news and prophecy. We'll run through the news, go into prophecy, and then wrap on up. Okay.
CNBC Ukraine legalizes crypto sector as digital currency donations continue to pour in. Posted March 17th, 2022.
This came out yesterday. I'm going to read it. It says, Ukraine legalizes crypto sector as digital currency. Ukraine legalizes crypto sector as digital currency, man. You know? Donations continue to pour in. But we just went over how these people are, man. You know? I'll read the article again. And it reads, Project Sandman, actually, the one on Ukraine, it might be in my story. I sent it to you, there was a picture. Yep. It says, after slavery, hundreds and hundreds of years of oppression, America needs a study to figure out whether we give reparations. And we don't want any reparations. We want blood, man. You know, like the elder in Birmingham says, we're dealing in a different currency now. You know, we're dealing in blood now, man. You shed the blood of our people, so guess what? We need those pounds of blood back as far as your people being on the ground, but double that. And when Yahushua cracks the sky, because we're not going to take vengeance into our own hands, that will be instituted, man. You know? You know? You want to get Psalms 58:10? I'll get Psalms 58:10. Read the rest of that. Where's the time at? Read that again. Read it with some basic English, brother.
After slavery, I know my voice ain't that. After slavery and hundreds of years of oppression, America needs to study to figure out whether we get reparations. But it only took 24 hours for both the House and Senate to approve $13 billion in emergency aid for you. $13 billion.
Now, how much again?
$13 billion.
Let me hear that one more time. One more time.
$13 billion.
$13 billion. No, Dr. Evil Face, man. Dr. Evil Voice. $1 billion, man. $13 billion that they gave to those people overnight. But they need to think about whether they can give you your 40 acres and a mule, man. We don't want that shit no more, man. You know, we want your blood in the concrete, man. You know, we want the necks of our enemies, man. You know, those who oppressed us, raped, robbed, murdered, stole, you know. Get Exodus 21:16. It goes back to the law, what's going to happen to them, man. You know. Let me get Psalms 58, Exodus 21:16, Bubba the Show. This is Psalms 58:10. This is Psalms 58:10, and it reads, the righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. I'm going to read it again. Some precepts are so nice, you got to read it twice. Psalms 58:10, and it reads, the righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. You know, we're going to rejoice and be like, Kawadi, how about Shimmy Shad? I don't reconcile, we get beamed up, man. You know, we're going to be singing their praises, man, to how about Shimmy Shad as this place is getting burnt up, man. You know? You know? This is Psalms 58:10. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. So that a man shall say, verily, truly, there is a reward for the righteous. Verily, truly, he is a power that does judge in the earth. And Yahweh Shem Shai, he delights in judgment, man. You know, also mercy, you know. But judgment and justice, I don't want to butcher it, I'm going to get it, is the habitation of thy throne. Psalms 89:14. Psalms 89, Salaki, stay patient. Stay patient. Psalms 89:14. Can you go get this on fire? I got a lot of it. Go to the bathroom, bro. Bathroom's right there. Go inside where there's no wind. Get on, bro. This is Psalms 89:14, and it reads, justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne, mercy and truth shall go before thy face. So justice and judgment is the habitation of the throne of the Lord, man. You know? And these people have a cold judgment coming to them, man. And rightfully so. This is Exodus 21:16. Exodus 21 and 16. And it reads, he that sealeth a man and selleth him, and if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. And these Edomites were still in their hands, man. You know, so they're going to be put to death as well as their kingdom. Just like the Egyptians were taken into power and they never rose back to power. Well, the modern day Egyptians, they're going to be taken out and taken into power. They're never going to rise to power. And coming out of the Pesach, aka the Passover, you know, it's a celebration and a commemoration, a solemn assembly, better yet, to commemorate our deliverance out of the Egyptians' hands. And we're going to be delivered out of the modern day Egyptians' hands, man, all over again. I don't reconcile where that number, man. Let's get the next article, brother. Let's see, what do you have here? This one, right here. This one right here, yep.
DHS
I'll read it. Department of Homeland Security collected Americans' financial records in bulk. Senator Wyden, just in case the precepts come to mind, and it reads, the Department of Homeland Security has collected Americans' financial records in bulk, according to Senator Wyden. And why are they collecting their financial records? You know, because they want to see who has money, who's doing what, how they're doing it, how they're spending it, you know? Because they're about to institute something to substitute fiat paper money. And that fiat paper money is going to crash as soon as all these nations band together and say they're not going to deal in American dollars anymore as far as oil trading, the petrodollar. This is the first paragraph, and it reads, Wyden revealed the existence of a Department of Homeland Security financial surveillance program. This article came out Wednesday, March 16th, so the other day. Hot off the press, you know, it came out this week. And it reads, Wyden revealed the existence of a Department of Homeland Security surveillance program in a March 8th letter to the department's Inspector General calling for an investigation into previously unknown activities. And also the Department of Homeland Security and FBI, so on and so forth, they're keeping an eye on the prophets, man. You know, through a thing called Project Megiddo. You know, COINTELPRO. That's why you see the transcripts and the lessons of late. They're putting it out that they're watching us, man. Also, they said last year that their #1 priority was domestic terrorism. What do they consider us telling people that America's going to be destroyed? They consider that treason, just like they did during the Roman Empire. That's why Paul was beheaded. That's why Peter was crucified upside down. That's why the Lord was killed. You know, the Lord was killed because of those wicked scribes and Pharisees. They used the law to kill the Lord. But what was he telling his men to do? Prophesy and tell them, thus say Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and tell them that the kingdom, you know, is coming, man. And the kingdom is coming, you know, and that's the good news, you know. This man is set to be taken into power, and we're going to be put in power, man. Can you get Ezekiel 17 and 24 over the shop? I'm going to get this next paragraph, and it reads, Wyden said that in the recently learned Homeland Security investigations, law enforcement component of DHS was operating an indiscriminate and bulk surveillance program that swept up millions of financial records about Americans. You know, they're looking to see who's doing what, how they're spending their money. You know. Slipped my mind. Slipped my mind. You gotta get it. You gotta be quick, brother. You gotta be quick, brother. Lord when it comes back, I'll get the next article. And it reads, Digital Tyranny. Ezekiel 17 and 24. It talks about the exalted, the low tree, cast down the high tree. That's talking about nations of people. The last verse of Ezekiel 17. It should be highlighted. That's the war scroll right there, brother. It might not be highlighted. Boom, right there.
Ezekiel 17 and 24.
Yep.
And all the trees of the field shall know that I, the Lord, have brought thee down. That's all I get. That's all I get. And all the trees of the field shall know that I, the Lord, have brought down the high tree, have exalted the low tree.
Yep, have exalted the low tree. That's talking about the nation of Israel.
Have dried up the green tree.
Have dried up the green tree. And Psalm 37 and 35 says, King David he's seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree, going into those wine bottles that he's putting around the whole world. You know, talking also, going into his way of life, his philosophy, but also to take it one step deeper. If you go into Deuteronomy 32 and 33, we went into that in the lesson that got hit. But if you go into that word venom, and if you go into that word, the P word, the P word in that verse, you can look it up on your own. It goes into bottles. And what's this javelin potion being put in bottles? Pharmakia, wine double fold. And the whole world is drunk off of that javelin Kool-Aid, man. We call it the javelin Kool-Aid because you gotta get it, you gotta stick it in your body, just like a javelin, man. Just like, we're talking in code because we don't want to get the channel hit. The last channel got hit a week ago, man. So we're trying to talk the best we can and still give you the message as raw as we can give it to you. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah.
Have dried up the green tree, and I have made the dry tree to flourish.
That dry tree to flourish is talking about the nation of Israel, the wild olive tree, what I'm saying?
I, the Lord, have spoken and have done it.
Yep. I, the Lord, Yahweh Shah, have spoken and done it, man. Get that next article, brother Michelle. The precepts. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah. No precepts. That one right there. Okay.
Digital tyranny. Beware.
Give the sources of
Zero Hedge posted Thursday, March 17th, 2022, the other day.
This came out yesterday. And it's tyranny.
Digital tyranny. Beware of the government's push for a digital currency.
Can you read that again a little louder because you got Jake over there trying to be Kenny G. We got Najee in the background.
Beware of the government's push for a digital currency.
Yep. So beware of the government's push for a digital currency. Now, if you go into that book, if you go into the book at the end of the row, it starts with the R, the 13th chapter, and the 16th verse. It says, and he caused it. And if you go into that word, cause it, it means to be the author of, to set up, to fashion, to construct. What they're doing is they're constructing they're constructing everything to be on a digital grid through the Internet of Things. I almost say Internet of Thoughts. The Internet of Things and the Internet of Bodies. The digital grid to have you basically on a basically to merge man with machine. And the first step that they did towards that was the javelin. The javelin, put it like that. You know what I'm saying? For those that watch this channel, you can pick up on the lingo that we use. You know what the javelin is. If you don't know what the javelin is, go back a few months, go back to FisherTurnedHunter5, and go back a few months. If you ain't hip to the lingo, you better catch up. It'd be wise of you to catch up.
The government wants your money. The government wants your money.
Yep, the government wants your money. They want to have complete control over you and your money and your thoughts.
It will beg, steal, or borrow if necessary, but it wants your money any way it can get it.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Let's go into the rest of the articles and just read the header. Okay, next one.
USA to Ukraine, 13.6 billion approved following Russian bombardment. March sharp increase.
Yep. So we already went over that. We went into the prophecy as far as Lamentations 4:17, talking about our eyes look for a nation that cannot save us. And that nation that cannot save us is Esau Edom, because the author and finisher of our faith and the person that's going to redeem us is the Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. to the world known as Jesus Christ, ignorantly. If you go into the Paleo-Hebrew language, there's no E's, there's no U's, there's no J's, there's no B's, you know?
Blacklisted News post.
Give it a date, give it a source and a date, like you said.
Blacklisted News posted March 15, 2022.
Yep, posted March 15, 2022.
Petrodollar crash. Saudi Arabia considers accepting UN for Chinese oil sales.
Yep, so the Saudi Arabians, they don't want to accept U.S. currency as the standard for oil purchases anymore, which is going to cause the American dollar to crash. It's called the petrodollar, a monopoly that the Americans have had for over 60 years. But these other nations, they're teaming up to say to hell with America, man. That goes into Revelation, the 17th chapter. They're going to hate the whore, they're going to make her naked and burn her with fire, man. The first paragraph of that article, the last one. Yep.
The government
Oh no, it's the tyranny.
One of the core staples of the past 40 years, an anchor popping up to the dollar's reserve status.
Yep.
Was a global financial system based on the petrodollar.
Yep. And that was the golden standard for oil purchases. You had to buy oil in the currency of U.S. dollars, which kept the American economy afloat for a long time. But these nations are like to hell with America because of what's happening in the Ukraine. And that is looking like that's an instituted situation. Yeah, it's looking more and more like that's a psyop. To institute the MOT to the B. And what do you have happening at the same time? Oil prices are higher. You have grain prices set to be higher. And also at the same time, you have all these countries introducing central bank digital currencies. What did the UN say they wanted to do? The global elite, the Davos agenda, Klaus Schwab and company, they all said they wanted to do the same thing. And they wanted to introduce eventually a device that they wanted to have to track it all to put inside you. They said that in 2016, man. But going back to the point, what does the Ukraine have now? Well, the Ukraine now has universal basic income. Universal basic income is basically, it's a safety net. So if you don't have a job or you've been financially affected by war, you can get money from the government. But pretty soon, they're going to say, well, you know what? You've been getting this money for a while. Our grid went down. We don't know about your medical records anymore. We don't know if you've been watching those crazy guys on the internet or if you've been watching false news and misinformation sites. So to keep better track of what you're doing, also to know if you really are down with our government and you're not one of those crazy dudes, hey, what's up, brother? Put this device in me, man. And that's eventually what's gonna happen. That's Jake Cambodia. Yeah, I know him from a long time ago, man. That's Jake. He's Cambodian now. You know what I'm saying? But he's Jake. He's definitely Jake. I'd have kicked him with that dude a few times back in the day. He's a little youngster, a little crazy youngster too. But back to the point. Let's go to the next article, brother. And eventually, hey, that Jake may come into the fold, man. He may come into the fold, man. You never know, man. You never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. You never know who can believe, man. And this isn't a black thing or Hispanic thing, man. This is a Hebrew Israelite thing. This is an elect thing, man. And they're gonna have the elect come from all walks of life, looking like all nations, man. My phone cracked? Oh, that was that.
Zero Hedge posted Monday, March 14th, 2022. I'm making this account.
Yep.
10 signs the war in Ukraine is part of the Great Reset.
The what?
10 signs the war in Ukraine is part of the Great Reset.
So in case you are behind, you've been hiding under a rock the past year and a half, 2 years, what the Great Reset is the plan of the wicked elite. The United Nations, the Davos agenda, Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, also the World Health Organization's in on it, because through this thing that's been happening in the past 2 years, they've had to reset the way people deal with each other. And now everybody's afraid to get within a certain amount of feet within each other. And it so happens to be that number of feet is talking about that's the number of a man. If you do 3 of them. Why isn't it 7 feet? Why isn't it 8 feet? Why is it 6 feet? Well, that tells you who's doing this, man. You know? But the Davos agenda is the people behind the Great Reset, which is the 4th Industrial Revolution. Doing away with digital currency and putting you into the, doing away with fiat currency, paper money, you know, backed by a gold standard or whatever type of standard they have, or no standard like the American public has, you know, and then introducing you into digital assets, virtual assets, digital wallets, Amazon Palm Pay, so on and so forth, you know, facial recognition technology, you know, to slowly but surely walk you into the beast system and eventually the Karagna, man. Let's go into those bullet points. Let's read the first paragraph and then roll into the bullet points and then get some more precepts and wrap on up.
While the pandemic, what is it, acclimatized?
In case the precepts come to mind, it says, while the pandemic acclimatized the world to lockdowns, normalized the acceptance of experimental pharmakeas, precipitated the greatest transfer of wealth to corporations by disseminating the dollars and adjusted the muscle memory of workforce operations and preparation for a cybernetic future in an additional vector was required to accelerate the economic collapse before nations can build back better. That was the slogan that was used by creepy, sleepy, shoulder-smelling Joe Biden. You know, we're going to build America back better, build back better, you know? 3 B's. Well, what do you have as far as the Karagma? You know, it's three numbers. You know, chi stigma. You know, this is the point. This is the first bullet point right here. And it reads: the war between Russia and Ukraine is already causing unprecedented disruption to global supply chains, exacerbating fuel shortages and including chronic levels of inflation. You know, that's a couple of things, man. That's going to cause eventually a food shortage, an oil shortage, and all-out chaos and anarchy. What happened when the cyber attack happened to the fuel supply last year? You had people fighting at the gas stations, man. You know, men and women on camera fighting. You know what I'm saying? People pulling guns on each other, people robbing people for gas. You had a woman hoarding gas in her trunk, and she blew up. Her car blew up. You know, because she was filling up gas and throwing it in her trunk, and then she stopped at a red light. She stopped too hard, and then the car ignited, man. You know, that's judging from the Heavenly Father, man. You know, your phone, brother. Go through those bullet points. We don't have anything else in there that just, I'll go through it. Did you get 2nd Ezra 6 and 22, Brother Bishop? And then I'll get Ezekiel the 5th chapter. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And the storehouses shall be found empty. It should, I think it's 6 and 22. It might be 21. I think it's 6 and 22. Yeah, 22. Go on.
This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 22.
Yep.
And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
And what did you have happen the first month of this whole thing? Well, if you went to the grocery store, and I actually was on Facebook just checking my memories 2 years ago, I didn't send it, but it's a full empty store, and the shelves were empty. There was nothing. There wasn't a top ramen. There wasn't a top ramen packet. There wasn't anything in the store but a few pieces of chicken, you know? And one thing that there was in the store was chicken, and the other thing that there was in the store was ingredients to make tacos. I was like, if you don't have chicken or tacos, Jake gonna go crazy down here, you know? You can't, you know, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, you can't find no chicken. What do you mean you can't find no chicken, Mom? You know, with the tacos? Yeah, you can't. What do you mean there ain't no there ain't no taco mix, there ain't no tortillas, there ain't no ground beef, no carne asada? You know, Jake gonna cause some, man, it's gonna be some smoke in the city. But pretty soon, there's gonna be full-blown smoke in the city. Because as these supply chains get affected more, and as they put that vibration out there, now they have the excuse to do the hyperinflation. Now they got the excuse to say that same packet of chicken that was $5 last month, now it's $16. You go back to the store next week, it's $25. You know, you buy a meal, and the price of that meal changes while you're eating it. Hyperinflation. You know? Can you get Ezekiel 5 and the last two verses, brother? Yeah, phone, brother. I'll get it. Don't worry about it. Don't say a password, I can't do it. It's all good, brother. Get the second bullet point. We'll run through all 10 of those bullet points. The bullet points are right here. So it's just one, and then two's down here, bro. Okay. Yeah, the bullet points.
The world's economic fallout will lead to a dramatic downsizing of the global workforce.
Yep. So you have machines running a lot of people's jobs, you know? You had in certain McDonald's and certain Burger King, they actually have machines making the hamburgers, you know? They're looking to replace the workforce. And in certain farms, they actually have machines, you know? They're looking to have machines to do the farming, man, you know? And that also is a plan of the global elite. You know, it's to reduce the workforce, also to reduce the amount of people that are actually occupying the planet. You know, they call them worthless eaters, you know? This is Ezekiel, to back up the first point that came out of that article. Ezekiel, I'll get 4. And it reads, yep. Ezekiel 4 and 16. And it reads, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care. You're going to be measuring out that rice. You're going to be measuring out those beans. You're going to be measuring out the top ramen. You're going to be measuring out the water you drink. You know, great famine and tribulation is coming, man. You know, want to get 2 Ezra 15 and 5 over the show? This is Ezekiel 4 and 16. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment. You're going to drink water by measure and with astonishment, man. You're going to be having a bottle like this and be passing it between 6 people, and it's going to be the water to last you for 2 weeks. And also, you're going to have the remnant, the elect, they're going to have abundance, man. You know? My servant shall eat, and ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, and ye shall be thirsty. You know? This is Ezekiel 4 and 16, 4 and 17, brother. Get that next. Ezekiel 4 and 17, and it reads, that they may want bread and water, and be astonished one with another, and consume away for their iniquity. Also it says it's better to die by the sword than to die by hunger, because you start to pine away. Your body starts to eat it itself. You start to hallucinate. You know, depending on the type of person you have, you'll actually start to get, you know, your body will start to look jacked up. You look like you'll have sores and whatnot, man. You know, your belly will be swollen and whatnot, man. Taking this video, 5. Behold, I will send sword, famine, death, and destruction.
2 Ezra 15 and verse 5.
Yep.
Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
Can you read that one more time? The Lord.
Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world.
I will bring plagues upon the world. What type of plagues?
The sword,
famine,
death, and destruction.
Death and destruction. And who is he going to use to be the facilitator of all those? Well, Esau was given the sword. Esau's compared to his death. Habakkuk 2 and 5. You know? Also, famine, that's going to be instituted by Esau, Edom, and the wicked elites, man. By crashing economies. You know? Saying that bread is $15 a loaf now, man. Out the middle of nowhere, you know? And it's going to lead to a lot of people being destroyed. Can you get 2 Ezra 16 to 8? the mighty Lord bringeth the plagues.
2nd Ezra 16, verse 8.
Yep.
The mighty Lord sendeth the plague, and who is he that can drive them away?
The mighty Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, is sending the plagues, man.
And who?
Esau, Edom, he's just the puppet that he's using to facilitate it, man. It's actually the Lord that's doing this, man. You know?
And who is he that can drive them away?
Nobody. You know, once Yahweh Shem Yahshai has your number, there's none that can deliver you out of his hand. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 39, and it reads, see now that I, even I, am he. There is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. The Lord does all these things, man. The Lord creates good and evil, man. He created the sons of the wicked. He created the sons of God. You know, he created the sky. He created night. He created day. He created your favorite dish that you like. He also created that dish that when you eat, you're like, oh man, you know. The Lord maketh rich and he maketh poor, you know. Poverty and debt, riches, you know, so on and so forth, they come from the Lord. Get Sirach 11 and 14, that's what it says. Hold that, 2nd Ezra 16. We'll go back there. But this is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I am he, there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. You know, the Lord, his hand is not short that he cannot hear, nor is it weak that he cannot heal. You know, Isaiah 59 and 2. I'll just get that. I don't want to butcher it. 11 and 14. Hold on. Isaiah 59 and 1, the classic right here. And it reads, the Lord's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither is his ears heavy that it cannot hear. You know, and who is the Lord's hand? Yahweh Shai. You know, the Redeemer, the author and finisher of our faith, the destroyer. You know, the first begotten of the dead, man. You know, the only begotten Son of the Most High. You know, the one that sits in the judgment seat, man. The one who's actually giving you the mercy. You know, the comforter. You know, the one that's actually able to give you the understanding, man. The one that's actually giving you the spirit. You know. This is Isaiah 59 and 1. Behold, the Lord's hand, Yahweh Shai, is not shortened that it cannot save, neither is his ear heavy that it cannot hear. And he's hearing our cries, man. You know? Can you get Sirach 35 and 17, Brother Shaw, while it's on my mind? This is Sirach 35 and 17. The prayer of the humble pierces the clouds.
This is the book of Sirach 35 and 17. The prayer of the humble pierces the clouds.
The prayer of the humble pierces the clouds, man. So you got to be humble in this thing. You can't be, it says, the scriptures say knowledge puffeth up. Just because you know a few precepts and you're able to bring stuff down, that doesn't give you the right to be a shitty person, you know?
Until it come nigh, he will not be comforted.
And until it come nigh, what? Destruction, you know? You know? We're not gonna ease up until we see Esau, Edom destroyed. I have said, watch it upon thy walls, which shall never hold their peace day or night. You know, until Jerusalem is appraised in the earth. We got to keep on doing the work. We got to do the work until the job is done. You know, it talks about those that those that weren't able to finish and they begin to mock them. Luke 14. You know, we don't want to be the men that are mocked. You know,
and will not depart till the Most High shall behold to judge righteously and execute judgment.
Yep. Can you get 18, Brother Michelle?
For the Lord Yahweh Shai will not be slack.
Neither will. Also, what's it say? Let me get that. 2 Peter 3 and 9. Real quick. 2 Peter 3 and 9. Stay patient. 2 Peter 3 and 9. And it reads, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all shall come to repentance. All Israel, as far as the house of David, are going to come to repentance, man. But he's not slack concerning his promise. You know, he's long suffering. You know? Come on, go. 18, Brother Michelle.
Neither will the mighty be patient toward them.
I'll start from the top. 18. Yep.
For the Lord will not be slack, neither will the mighty be patient toward them.
Yep.
So he hath smitten in sunder the loins of the unmerciful.
The loins of the unmerciful. That's talking about Esau, Edom. You know?
And repaid vengeance to the heathen.
Yep.
So he hath taken away the multitude of the proud and broken.
The multitude of the proud. You know? It also says that he that showed no mercy shall have judgment without mercy. And didn't these heathens, you know, not show us mercy, man? As far as Esau, Edom, when he had us in captivity, he burned the Bibles and burned those that were trying. He burned the rolls of the scriptures in the Maccabean captivity and the Greek captivity, better yet. He lynched babies, you know, hung the infants, you know, and used the umbilical cord to hang the mother. He castrated men. He had our people in chattel slavery, you know. During the Roman captivity, he's put hell in us as well. He encamped around the borders of the city so that no goods could get in. It's a war tactic called blockade and siege. And that's what he's looking to do all over again. In the form of, if you don't have the digital all, you don't have any access to society. You know? That's blockade and siege 2.0. Keep on going, brother.
And broken the scepter of the unrighteous.
Yep, can you get that again from the top? I got a precept that matches up with that. Isaiah the 14th chapter.
For the Lord will not be slack, neither will the mighty be patient toward them, till he have smitten in sunder the loins of the unmerciful.
The loins of the unmerciful.
And repaid vengeance to the heathen, so he hath taken away the multitude of the proud, and broken the scepter of the unrighteous.
This is Isaiah 14 and 4, and it says that thou shalt, I'm going to give 3. Yep. And I want to get the whole thing, but I'll get right to the point. Yeah. Isaiah 14 and 5, and it reads, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked. Who's the wicked? Pursuant to Malachi 1 and 4, Job 9 and 24, it's the nation of Esau, Edom, Adawam, Idumea. Isaiah 14 and 5, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. That's what it says, Sirach 35 and 18. Yep. And it reads, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. You know? Let's get Sirach 11 and 14, and then we'll get 2nd Ezra 16 and 11. And then we'll go get more of the article.
This is the book of Sirach 11 and 14.
Yep.
Prosperity and adversity.
Prosperity and adversity.
Life and death.
Life and death. That's duality. That's the Lord, man. He works in perfect balance, man. He created the sons of the righteous, the sons of the wicked, the vessels of honor and the vessels of dishonor. You know?
Poverty and riches.
Poverty and riches.
Come of the Lord.
Come from Yahweh Shem Yahshua.
Yep.
Get is that the whole thing?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, get 2nd Ezra 16 and 11, Brother Michelle. And we'll continue on with the article, and then we'll wrap on up, like, you know, in a little while. It's all good.
This is 2nd Ezra 16 and what?
11.
And 11.
Yep.
The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence.
Yep. It also says that can you look it up on your phone? Grind the powder, KJV. It shows that those, I don't want to butcher it, but he says he's going to grind the unbelievers to powder, man. You know, they shall be grinded to powder.
Luke 20:18.
Yep.
Luke
Get 17 from it. Let's see.
Previous verse.
Yep.
And he beheld them.
Yep. Beautiful.
Luke 20 and 17, and he beheld him and said, what is this then that is written? The stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner. Whosoever shall fall upon that stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever it shall fall, it shall grind him to powder.
Yep, and that cornerstone is talking about Yahweh Shai. Can you get Isaiah 28 and 16?
Okay.
Brother Shai?
Isaiah 28 and 16.
Yep.
Okay. Isaiah 28 and 16.
God.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation a stone.
Zion, a foundation for a stone. Talking about The rock, Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai is that stone.
God, the cornerstone of the rock, you know?
It goes into it. A tried stone.
A tried stone.
A precious cornerstone.
A precious cornerstone.
A sure foundation.
A sure foundation.
He that believeth shall not make haste.
Yep. And those who believe in the true doctrine, you shall not be ashamed nor confounded, because you are built on solid foundation. You know, Yahweh Shai. Can you get 17 over the shot, brother? I get the apocrypha because I have a precept that comes to mind that matches up with it. Isaiah 28:17.
Isaiah 28:17, judgment also will I lay to the line, and the righteous to the plummet. And hell shall sweep away the refuge of lies.
The refuge of lies is being swept under the rug. I mean, it's being confounded right now, you know? Because truth is in the earth, man. This is 2 Ezra 6:27, and it reads, but evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faithness shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And it's sweeping away and sweeping up the refuge of lies, man. You know? Because truth, it exposes everything that's false. You know? And Esau Edom, he's being confounded because the Spirit of the Lord is consuming the world, man. You know? You want to get Habakkuk 2:14? Get that, were you done with 17?
Yeah.
Okay, no.
2:14?
Habakkuk 2:14. Okay. You know?
Habakkuk 2:14. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai.
For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, man. You know, you believing the report, the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai being glorified. You know, the truth as far as who these heathen nations are. The truth about who the nation of Israel is, man. The truth about the Bible, man. And the truth as far as what happened in the past, you know. And the prophets are back. Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, as the ultimate act of war, he sent back all the prophets, man. You know, in Babylon the Great, man, he sent back the all-star team, man. And this is a marvelous work that the Lord has done these last days, man.
The spirit
of
the prophets are subject to the prophets?
Yeah, you know, the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets, but also he said he will send, I'll just get it real quick. I'm going to get it. Finish Habakkuk 2:14 over the show.
As the waters cover the sea.
Yep, get it from the top of it.
For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord,
yep.
As the waters cover the sea.
For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord. That means there's men that have to be there that have that knowledge to be able to glorify the Lord and to tell, thus said the Lord, man, and to tell his message, you know, and to not be ashamed nor confounded, you know. This is Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon. Sloppy.
You want to go on the beach?
The first chapter. Wisdom of Solomon 1:7. And it reads, for the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world. And that matches up with Habakkuk 2:14. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord. You know. Also, Wisdom of Solomon 12:1. Thy incorruptible spirit is in all things. You know, because Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, he creates good and evil. You know, for good is set against evil. You know, one against another. This is Wisdom of Solomon 12:1. For thy incorruptible spirit is in all things. You know. This is Wisdom of Solomon 12:2. Wherefore, chasten thou them little by little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance, wherein they have offended, that leaving their wickedness they may believe on thee, O Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. And that's what men are put in the spirit of when they hear this word. They're put in the spirit of remembrance, man. You know, Peter 3:1. I will stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance. Not to get it, brother. You know, we'll go into the article a little more. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon 1:7. For the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which obtaineth all things hath knowledge of the voice. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid. For I have made Esau bare. You know, I haven't covered his face. You know, I haven't covered his hidden things. Want to get Jeremiah 49:10, brother? Sure, I don't want to butcher it. Jeremiah 49:10. For I made Esau bare. This is Wisdom of Solomon 1:8. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid. neither shall vengeance, when punished, pass by him. For inquisition, heavy questioning. Inquisition, a court-like setting where you ask questions, man. Heavy questioning, interrogation. You know, for inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly. Let me read again. For inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly. Who's the ungodly? Esau, Edom, starting with the head tribe of Esau, Edom, Amalek. And we got questions for Amalek. You know, where's oral circumcision at in the law? Who's sin? Why are you in the Holy Land and there's war? Why'd you lock down your gates? You know, why are you bombing people? It says the nation will war no more when the kingdom of Israel is set up. Why is there still wickedness? You know, where are the other 11 tribes at? Where's King David at? Where's the 144,000 rulers? You know, where's where's the other apostles at? Where are the prophets? Where are the prophets of, you know, where are the prophets of Amalek at, man? Why aren't they on the highways and byways fulfilling Ezekiel 37? You know, we got a lot of questions for Amalek, man. You know, where those, you know, where's having homosexual parades in Tel Aviv at in the scriptures, man? Why do you have a Muslim temple with the gold top in the middle of Jerusalem, man? You know, that's confusion. It says that, you know, these other nations are going to have to serve the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. You know, we dare you to set up a Muslim temple when the kingdom of Israel set up, man. You know, you even have that thought, you're going to get stoned. We're going to be able to read your thoughts, man. You know, as far as the elect, out on Raptors, we be of that number, man. You got something, brother? Oh, Jeremiah 49:10, you got something.
Jeremiah 49:10, but I have made Esau buried. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself.
Let me get this real quick to back that up. For inquisition shall be made to the counsel of the ungodly, and the sound of his words shall come unto Yahweh for the manifestation of his wicked deeds. He's going to have to give account for everything that he did, man. You know? All right. Finish that, brother.
His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
Yep, his seed is spoiled, and his neighbors and his brethren, and he is not. It's being found out through the spirit of truth being in the earth that these people are nothing but bloodthirsty, murdering homosexuals, man. You know? It's being found out that the wicked elites, they drink adrenochrome. You know? A lot of these missing children posters are really, you know, children that they've taken and they sacrificed. They gotten the melanin from, they're drinking their adrenochrome, so on and so forth, man. You know? It's being found out that Epstein Island is real, man. You know? They were really over there doing that to people. And actually, there's a video. Let's not play it. But there's a video that's been going around of a dude who looks like Epstein burning, you know, through a magnifying glass. He's burning a Judite, or what looks like to be an Eve, burning her private parts, burning her titties off, man.
With a smile on his face.
With a smile on his face, because that's the nature of Esau, man. You know? He has a perpetual hatred, man. Therefore, blood shall pursue thee, man. You know? Let's go into, let me get, I'll finish that verse here. Let's go into the rest of the article.
That's actually last article.
No. We didn't get all 10 of those points, bro.
Oh, the points?
Yeah, we only on 3.
Oh,
We'll breeze through them, though, brother.
Not like this. 3?
What was that supposed to say? Let's go, yeah.
I'm just looking
Get 3. Get all the bullet points, and we'll just run through them, you know? We'll just read them.
The war has significantly reduced Europe's reliance on the Russian energy sector and reinforced the centrality of the UN Sustainable Development Goals and net zero emissions, which lies at the heart of the Great Reset.
And then what happened a few days after they went into the Ukraine? Allegedly, right? Cyber attacks. And what were they starting to say in Babylon the Great? They're pushing the vibration of, you know, expect a cyber attack, so on and so forth. But about 8 months ago, it's June, it's May. So about 8 months ago, July, 8 months ago, they had a meeting between the World Economic Forum, the World Economic Forum, and their constituents called the Cyber Polygon. And it was a simulation of a cyber attack and supply chain attack on a global scale. Now, what do you have happen 4 months before this thing all happened in 2019 in October, he had something that was called Event 201. And Event 201, it was a simulation of a beer, a beer flu. You catch what I'm saying? The name of the beer that they call this thing, the name of the beer that you need the javelin for, and everything that they said in that event started to happen. That was Esau Edom prophesying on the left-hand side, man, showing you that what he was showing you that he is the sons of the wicked. You know, also it says that they, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. You know, they plot these things in the dark, man. You know, and it's starting to come out that, you know, these things that they're putting out there as far as these I want to be careful with my wording. These events and simulations, that's all left-handed. That's all left-handed. What do they call it? It's all left-handed witchcraft, man, to show you what they're doing right in front of your face, man. You know, and the average American citizen is too dumb to actually realize what they're doing, man. It's a ritual, man. You know, just like Eyes Wide Shut. You seen that movie when they had the mask up? That all they're doing is a ritual. They're sitting there. They're sitting there, telling you exactly what they're gonna do, and using the guise as a simulation. And then if you actually expose what they're doing, they'll call you a conspiracy theorist. They'll say it's medical misinformation. They'll say it's hate speech. They'll say you're promoting violence and so on and so forth. But you're the one that's doing it. You're the one that's putting the simulation, saying that all these people. Literally, if you watch the Event 201, it's a 4-part thing. It's like 2 hours long. You know what I'm saying? It's literally them doing exactly what's happening right now. As far as the first steps of it, they were doing it was called GNN instead of CNN. During the simulation, you had a lady coming on the news, giving the death toll, you know, so on and so forth. It's trippy, bro, if you watch that. You know, all you gotta do is watch the first hour of it, man, and you can see what the Esau's doing.
Like off,
What they're doing, also during that, they were saying, well, when this starts to come out, what are we gonna do to combat people who are actually spreading misinformation on social media? And that term, misinformation, disinformation, it didn't start to get popular or gain traction until this thing came out. But in the Event 201, they were saying that in the simulation, well, what are we going to do to regulate social media sources? Because you can't control the people on social media. They're going to put this out. They're going to be, well, we'll come to a plan to take care of that. We'll be able to say this and say that. We'll be able to combat that misinformation and disinformation. Basically, people speaking the truth and exposing their lies, man. And what do you have? If you post on Instagram, if you post on Facebook, and the post is controversial, don't take it down. If you go into the Karagma, if you go into their plans in detail, if you say the ingredients and what's in the javelin Kool-Aid, they'll call it misinformation, you know? But all you're doing is giving public information. You can go on a website and look it up and go over the ingredients of what's in the Kool-Aid. But if you say it on camera, you know, when it's on the fucking website, man, then it's misinformation, man. You know? That's why the scriptures say, never trust thy enemy, man. You know? Deuteronomy 32 and 33, if you go to the blue letter, once again, it'll give you a little more clarity of the potion, man. Revelation 18 to 23. I shouldn't have said that P word, but whatever. You know, of the javelin Kool-Aid. You know? The elixir. Yeah. Let's get the fourth point.
Food shortages created by the war will offer a major boon to the synthetic biology industry as the convergence of a digital technology with of digital technology.
Okay, just like digital currencies, right? Just like the digital all has the ability to store those things. Just checking. Okay.
With material science and biology will radically transform the agricultural.
Science and biology? Well, isn't that what they're trying to get inside you and change? Okay, just checking. I'm just asking. I'm just curious.
Science and biology will radically transform the agricultural sector and encourage the adoption of plant-based.
Didn't they say something about gene therapy and the elixir? That's what the elite said. He said it on TV, right? Didn't he say that? I'm not saying he said it, but I'm not saying they're giving medical advice once again. I'm just asking.
You're asking.
You know, this is public information. They've said this. They said this on camera. they said this in news articles and whatnot, you know?
And lab-grown alternatives on a global scale.
Lab-grown alternatives. What are those? Well, they're promoting lab-grown alternatives. They don't want you to eat any meat. They want you to eat synthetic beef, you know? And also they're planning on starving people into submission, you know? As far as if you don't have this digital, you're not going to have access credit. Let's keep it going. Let's go over these bullet points.
We're 6. 6 points.
The dollar sellers are going to come out pretty soon. I want to catch some of that.
This war marks a major inflection point in the globalist aspiration for a new international rules-based order anchored in Eurasia.
What the? Well, let me get there. I didn't even read this. I just passed it to you. I read about 4 or 5 of these bullet points. I was like, this is interesting. So this is the article that came out from Zero Hedge, and we may leave a link to this article in the actual camp post. We may not. This came out the other day. It says the signs. The war in Ukraine is part of the Great Reset, which is a global plan. And this is 10 bullet points in the article, and it's pretty interesting. Now, if you go over the 6th bullet point, yep. And also, in this article, it has the UN plan as far as the plan for Agenda 2030, which used to be Agenda 21, and it changed to Agenda 2020, and now it's Agenda 2030. And the plans for unsustainable development are just the plans of the wicked elite to have global domination, aka the Georgia Guidestones, aka the Davos Agenda, aka the 4th Industrial Revolution, connecting people to the IoT, the Internet of Things. This is the 6th point right here. Is that the 3rd point?
No, it was down.
This way?
I don't know. I think it.
Oh, it was the 4th. It was the 4th one. It says food shortages created by the war will offer a major boom. Yeah, I'm reading it again. To synthetic biology industry as the convergence of digital technologies with materials science and biology will radically transform agricultural sector and encourage the adoption of plant-based and lab-grown alternatives on a global scale. Talking about they want to replace, things that are grown naturally with lab-grown everything. 3D printed meat, 3D printed vegetables, and crops with the elixir already in it as an ingredient.
Nutritionless food.
Yeah, come. This is the 5th point, and it reads, Russia's exclusion from SWIFT, the Society for Worldwide International Financial Telecommunication, foreshadows the economic reset, because as a lot of countries are siding with Russia, they're gonna do away with the petrodollar. They're gonna cause the American dollar to crash, and the dependency on American currency as far as the worldwide standard for trading oil, which is a huge hit to the American economy. You know? Jake over there.
I know.
Wow. Revelation. This is the 5th point. It says Russia's exclusion from SWIFT foreshadows an economic reset which will generate precisely the kind of blowback necessary for corralling large swaths of the global population into a technocratic control grid. That's what they're looking to do, you know? They're looking to implement a technocracy, you know?
Everybody on one big system.
Yeah. This is the 6th point, and it says, the war marks a major inflection point in the globalist aspiration for a new international rules-based order anchored in Eurasia. You know, that new world order. Novos Ordo Sectorium.
Yeah, that new order.
This is the 7th point. This, with speculation mounting over the war's long-term impact on bilateral trade flows between China and Europe, the Russia-Ukraine conflict will catapult Israel, the small headers, a leading advocate of the global Great Reset, to even greater international prominence. And eventually, those small headers are going to fuck with the wrong people, man. You know? This is the 8th point right here. It is now common knowledge that digital identities are a central plank to the World Economic Forum's Great Reset agenda and are to be streamlined across industries, supply chains, and markets as a way of advancing the UN's 2030 agenda and delivering individualized and integrated services in future smart cities. So they want to have everybody on that global grid, you know? ID 2020, which came out a few years ago, as far as the concept of it. That's the 8th bullet point. The 9th bullet point, and it reads, Europe is directly in line, Europe is directly in the line of fire once a hybrid war between NATO and Sino-Russia axis is underway. And eventually, you know, you're going to have those nations start to beat each other, man. You know? This is the 10th bullet point right here. And it reads, the economical implications of this war will be so disastrous that governments of the public sector will require a significant injection of private capital to address the financing shortfall. So eventually they're going to have to institute something else as far as a substitute for fiat currency or paper money. And that's something else we know is coming on the way. Let's go into... So let's run through these executive orders. Because you had a tank taken to the streets. Real quick, I want to show this real quick. So this happened in, I want to show you guys real quick, in the city of Gettysburg, Virginia. It says, freshly painted tanks with rubber treads for city and suburban concrete traveling martial law. Because you know, tanks, they don't have, you know, rubber treads. They have like, I think like iron treads or something like that. But this one right here, this tank, I'll show you real quick. How do you turn the volume up?
It's going through the park in Gettysburg.
Yes, they have rubber tracks on them.
So it's backing up now. There's no markings on any of these tanks, y'all. Just a black star right there in the middle of it.
Where's the black star?
Right dead in the middle right there's a black star. That one had a number on it. These are rubber track tanks, y'all.
Rubber track
They are
tanks.
rubber track tanks right here in Gettysburg.
So if you are in hardcore war, you don't need rubber track tanks. What are rubber track tanks for? Rubber track tanks are for when they have these tanks on the streets, when they institute martial law. You know? Let's go to those bullet points.
Executive.
These are the FEMA executive orders that they have under a state of martial law. And right now, just to give people clarification, we're still in a national emergency, a medical national emergency. And under the state of a medical or national emergency, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and FEMA is actually the government. They actually the head honchos. Joe Biden is just a puppet. And he's actually just a puppet for the wicked elites. And to take it one step further, so is the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA. They're just foot soldiers for the Illuminati, man. You know? The banksters and the people who really run this country. Any precepts in the comment board and see if anybody been dropping some heat. Hey, shalom, like y'all WatchMen, shabakata, wa'atam. The brother Zebulon is a moderator.
Executive Order 11005 allows the government to take over railroads, inland waterways, and public storage facilities.
If you go back to that video, what was the tanks on? They were on railroads. No? And what are these FEMA facilities and these FEMA camps close to? Railroad tracks. Yep.
This is the next one.
The next one.
Executive Order 11051.
Yep. Executive Order 11051. What is it?
Specifies the responsibility of the Office of Emergency Planning and gives authorization to put all executive orders into effect in times of increased international tensions and economic or financial crises.
Financial crisis. Wow. What do we have going on with central bank digital currencies, the American dollar being attacked? Well, it looks like we have a financial crisis on the way. At the same time, while all these end-time prophecies are happening. At the same time, while they're looking to have human guinea pigs for Neuralink. put 1 and 1 together. It's 2. The other camps outside of Great Millstone and men who teach the same doctrine are going to tell you 1 and 1 is 3. We're going to tell you it's 2. You know, we're going to open up the scriptures to the best of our ability, and we're going to make it plain upon tables. Make the vision plain upon tables. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Hey, get in that camera, brother. That's what I'm trying to get close to the sound. We have a lot of voice. It's all good, bro. Ain't nobody over here. It's just Kenny G was over there making a whole bunch of noise there. I call him Kenny G because he's playing that jazz. You know? Yeah, Kenny G was kicking it. He was playing the cuts. You know? I almost caught myself dancing for a second. Let's keep it going.
Executive Order 11310.
Yep, 11310.
Grants authority to the Department of Justice to enforce the plan set out in executive orders to institute industrial support to establish judicial and legislative license.
All of these. I'll get the scriptures real quick. Yep. So this is another thing that they also did. This is in California. This is the California legislations bills that are currently in play where we live in California. I'll zoom in so you can see it. Slocky if it's a little blurred. It says California bills that are currently underway. And it reads, I'll make it big so people can see. California bills currently in play. And this is a California bill that's currently in play. And it reads, requires proof to enter, this is SB 871, State Bill 871 in California. It says requires all kids to have the Javelin Kool-Aid for public or private schools. Requires proof of the Javelin Kool-Aid to enter public or private businesses. Well, Burger King, your grocery store, we've been saying this for a long time. Starting with the elders and apostles. Your apartment building, also what do you have in the apartment building? You know, you have Latch. You have Latch, the app. So it's one step closer to have everything on the digital grid. This is State Bill 866 allows kids 12 plus to consent to the Yo Jabba Jabba Kool-Aid without parental consent. This is the one that caught my attention. Requires schools to continue testing contact tracing for quarantine protocols. This is the next one right here. It says requires law officers to enforce public health orders. So if they're requiring everybody to have the Javelin Kool-Aid, and they're requiring law enforcement officers to enforce public health orders, well, eventually, when they take this step one step further, those are going to be the same people who are going to be putting hell on people who don't have the charagma. And the Javelin Kool-Aid isn't the charagma, but it's a precursor to the charagma, man. It's the and he causes to be the author of, to do, to fashion, to set up. You know, this is State Bill AB 1993, and it says requires all employees to be Javelins. Almost said the word. I don't want to say the J word. It requires everybody to have the Javelin Kool-Aid to be employed. Requires changes to California immunization registry. Reclassify and sharing of misinformation on the Javelin and on the Kool-Aid by doctors as unprofessional conduct resulting in disciplinary action. You're going to lose your job. You're going to get fined. You're going to get thrown in jail. If you're a doctor and you're telling people not to trust Esau, not to go down. If you're telling people not to go down to the magi's and sorcerers and the physicians of no value, in Job 13 and 4, you know, the worthless quacks, you're going to be thrown in jail, or you may lose your your health license. You know, if you're a doctor. Authorizes medical board investigators to inspect businesses, including patient medical records. So they can have the health board come down to your job and do a random sweep. Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? And he caused it. Because eventually, when this thing gets swapped out, they're going to be doing the same thing with people who have and don't have the charagma. Thus, thrown in jail. Yeah, it's a precursor. It's setting everything up so it's a well-oiled machine. You know? It's like 2Ks, practice mode. Before you get on the court, you practice all your moves. You get your guy pumped up. Make sure when you shoot, it's green. You know, same thing. You know. And this is State Bill 1100 authorizes members of legislative body to remove any individual interrupting a meeting. So if you're in a state board meeting and you're, you know, spilling the beans, you're letting people know what's going on. These guys are liars. Like some people, yeah, you're throwing right. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to jail. This is a executive order. Yep, 11049. Assign 11921 allows the Federal Emergency Preparedness Agency to develop plans to establish control over mechanisms of production and distribution of energy sources, wages, salaries. What were they saying in the state California bill? Well, they want to be able to say, if you don't have the Kool-Aid, you can't work. You don't have the Kool-Aid, you don't have the Javelin Kool-Aid, you don't have the receipt for going down there and buying the Kool-Aid, code talk, you can't enter public spaces or private spaces, private sectors, you know? And when this thing first started out, what were the institutions that they were using? Little quiz question. What were the institutions that they were using to give people the nose javelin?
Oh, the face mask?
No, the nose javelin. They stick up your nose and goes to your brain. Code talk. What were the institutions that they were using? Just a question from me to you. No. What was the facilities that they were using? The places that people were going to.
Oh, like
those. That's a good answer. Get warmer. I'm gonna give you the answer straight up, so you don't say the word, or so you don't say too many words. Churches.
Ooh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so they were using a lot of churches. You had a lot of Jake using the pastors and so on and so forth. They were promoting it because those pastors have what's called a 501c3. That's a contract with the government to teach you an IRS-approved doctrine. And when this thing first started out, also they were using those same churches as some of those churches, better yet, they were using to give the Kool-Aid. And then they switched it over to other facilities, you know? And also, what were they using as well? Stadiums.
Oh, all kinds.
Yeah.
Remember the Cardinal Stadium was
So they're gonna use those same tactics when the MOTB is introduced, when the Karagma is introduced. Those stadiums, those basketball stadiums, those football stadiums, you know, those stadiums. They're not meant to hold 80,000 people, 100,000 people for no reason. Because there's gonna be a lot of people who don't want to bow down. And they're gonna have to use those facilities as you know, places where they hold people, or let's say the intermediator place, the places where they play as a holding cell for people who, you know, they wanna see if they can get them to take the Karagma, or they try to weaken them to try to take the Karagma before they put them down to the camps, so on and so forth. You know? Yeah, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So let's go into some more of these bullet points. Come on, brother. We'll wrap on up with maybe a precept or two, but we want to bring these points out. This is Executive Order 10995 allows the government to seize control of the media. Executive Order 10995. And what are they doing right now? The transcripts, but also news media outlets. They're starting to ban those news media outlets in countries around the world. RT News is banned in several EU countries. China, they banned literally everything. Google, Facebook, YouTube. You know, that's coming to Babylon the Great pretty soon. They have the executive orders right here. This is right here. It's right here. We're reading them. You know.
No conspiracy here.
Yeah, this is public information. You can go look up the executive orders. Executive Order 10990. You can Google it and get the rest of these. Executive Order 10990 allows the government to take control over all models of can you get second Esdras 15 and 16? A man shall desire to go in the city, they shall not be able. Second Esdras 15 and 16. Executive Order 10990 allows the government to take control over all models of transportation and control the highways and seaports. That's what the government made these highways for. It's for military transportation. As you see right here in this video, we just showed it. They also can take control of the railways. And what do they have right here?
Yeah. So it's
Tanks
backing up now. There's no
with
markings on
rubber
any of these tanks, yo.
on the bottom of
Just a
them,
black
not
star
iron,
right there
not
in the
metal,
middle of it.
and they're using
Right
the
there in the
railways
middle, right
so
there's a
people
black
can't see them.
star. That one had a number on it.
And
These
they
are
have rubber on the bottom
track
of them.
tanks.
Well, if you have a hardcore war going on, if you have what people are suspecting to happen going on, is for us to send those tanks overseas. Nah, that's not what's going to crack off, man. What's going to crack off is they're going to use those tanks to be implementing these executive orders by force when this Karagma gets introduced, man. Which they're planning slowly but surely to roll out. I don't write this out. This is the year. This is the last Passat. You know, and I have a feeling, speaking as a man, that this may be the year. I have a feeling that this is the year they're going to do this, man. The spirit power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, you know. Now, it's just me speaking as a man, but, you know, as a man, I say that, man. Now, I stand behind it. I've said it a few times. Now, I stand behind that statement. I approve of this message. You know?
There's a perfect precept to back that up, too.
2nd Ezra 15 and 16.
That's 17. And that's how we got it.
Yeah.
Second Ezra.
What does 16 say?
16 say, for there shall be, okay.
Yeah.
Second Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another.
That's what you have going on in LA. And that's what you have going on in different places in the world. You know, you also have that going on in Babylon the Great. People are robbing the gas stations. You know? People are robbing people for gas. You know, in LA where it's $7 a gallon, $7.50 a gallon in certain places, you know, across the street from my house it's like $6 a gallon, $10 a gallon if you want the premium shit. They're robbing people for gas, man. Now, wait until the food shortages happen and there's no food in the stores. And you got a strap and you ain't in this suit, you a worldly nigga. And, you know, you see Cain, the sons of Canaan, you had 3 Canaanites walking by, so it looked like Ishmael. You see them Canaanites or them Ishmaelites down the street, they got food. They got halal meat, lamb, beef and lamb. You know, they got chicken, they're good chicken too. You know, they got, USDA prime steaks. And, you know, you just in the spirit of calling out. You're going to go take that shit from that nigga, man. That's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be taking your food, taking your woman. You know, the horny Russians is going to be doing it too, man. That's what they did in World War II. They were raping the German women, man. You know, and that's what they're doing over there in the Ukraine already. There's a lot of Ukrainian women who are being forced into prostitution, man. And those Russian soldiers, you know, when they get a woman, they're running the choo-choo on her, man. You know, 50 Sergeys and 50 Vladimirs, man. You know, back to back to back. No Drake, man. Going back to back. And that's what's going to happen in Babylon the Great. Women are going to be ravished, man. You know, let's get that. 15 to 6, is that the whole thing?
No, I just want.
Okay, no.
They shall not regard their kings nor princes.
That's what you have going on with these countries, like in Kazakhstan. I did a video on it. There was people beating on. You can see their arms like this, blood all on the ground. Because in Kazakhstan, in case you don't know, you got to have the javelin to access your bank and access your bank branch and access money out of the ATM. And that's why they're going to the streets and not regarding their kings or princes. Somebody slapped Macron, the French prime minister, about 4 months ago. Just slapped the nigga, man. Bam! Right in the face. You can hear that.
Not regarding the kings.
They didn't regard him. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's gonna come down to that in Babylon the Great pretty soon. You know? Especially as we get further and further down the line of prophecy, man. This is a beautiful thing that's happening, man. This is the scriptures being put to life right in front of you, man. The living document is being lived out by the earth, man. You know? This is a living document right here, man. And what's happening is this document is being fulfilled because the Spirit of the Lord resides in the Word. He is the Word. And every single one of these prophecies is going to hit, man. Where the people will hear or forbear.
And the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Yep. Get the 17th verse.
A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and a man shall be afraid.
Yep, a man shall be afraid, you know? A man shall desire to go in a city, and he's going to be afraid, you know? Jeremiah 30 and 6, you know?
The rubber fence is posted out there on the front.
Yeah. You know? As a travailing woman, man. Let's get this, this is Executive Order 10995 allows the government to seize the control of the communication media, which they've pretty much already done. They've hacked, you know, every single movement every single news station, they have their puppets on TV telling you what they want you to hear. Executive Order 10997 allows the government to take control over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. But what do you have happening right now because of this alleged conflict? We have gas prices high, a controlled situation, you know, to break your pockets, man. You know, don't let the food shortage happen in the next month while the gas shortage is happening. Well, people are going to be tripping, man. You know, this is Executive Order 10998 allows the government to take control over all food and resources. Well, that's the spirit. I was just talking about that. I didn't even look at it. You know what I'm saying? And what are they doing right now? Well, you have Bill Gates, a.k.a. Kill Gates, a.k.a. BG. Well, he has his hand in more farmland than anybody in the country. And what does he want to do? He said what he wants to do. He wants to put the javelin in the potatoes. You know? In a lot of the places where he owns farmland, that's where you get the potatoes for your french fries, for your Happy Meals, for Wendy's, and so on and so forth, man. And he already put it out in the air what he wants to do with it. This is Executive Order 11000, allows the government to mobilize civilians into work brigades under government supervision. Slavery, you know? That's what they're looking to do. You will own nothing and be happy, man. You know, and they have mental slaves right now who've been hypnotized by their mass media. Mass going into massacre, and then media going into media. Mind control. Media going into medium, which is a witch, you know? A necromancer, man. You know? One that pushes enchantments on you. And that's what they've done this past 2 years. A big ass enchantment on everybody. Everybody's scared of their own shadow. Hiding under the bed watching CNN. Trembling and shaking at the report of Esau Edom. This is the next executive order. 11001 allows the government to take control over all health, education, and welfare and functions. What do you have the State Bill of California say? California State Bill 1464. This is a conspiracy theory. This is right here in front of your face. We're reading it. In case you just think we're just... This is all public information. And it reads, requires law enforcement to enforce public health orders. Requires the schools to continue testing, contact tracing, and quarantine protocols. This is the State of California legislation bills for 2022.
Wow.
This is all public information. You can Google it. You can Google it yourself. This isn't a conspiracy theory anymore. This is right in front of your face. This is the vision speaking, man. Playing upon tables. And it says the State Bill 920 allows medical board investigators to inspect businesses, including patient medical records. And the second one, I'll just let you read it for yourself. I'll get close to the screen so you can read it. You may not be able to see it. I'll just read it. It says, requires proof of the Yo Jabba Jabba Javelin to enter public and private businesses. So to get inside the grocery store, a private-owned company, bonds, you know, we call it Safeway in Seattle and Portland. It's called Safeway. Down here it's called bonds. Publix or wherever you're at. California, they have bonds. It's like the biggest one. Albertsons. What's another grocery store? Walmart. You know, you're going to have proof of you know what. And eventually, that's just going to get swapped out with the MOTV, which they're already putting out there that they have. Neuralink. You know, Elon Musk, he's like, I need to get this inside some niggas this year. I need some guinea pigs, man. So it isn't a conspiracy theory anymore. It's right there in front of your face. This is Executive Order 11002. Designates the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons. For what? To see if you've taken the Kool-Aid and eventually if you've given the MOT to the BZ. The MOTZ to the BZ. You know? Speaking in code, the MOTZ to the BZ. Foshizi. Mondeezy. This is Executive Order 11003. And it reads, allows the government to take control over all airports and aircraft, including commercial aircraft. And they put that out there last year that they wanted the Delta workers and so on and so forth to go out there and take the Javelin, and they said, okay, we can come back now. Because it wasn't really about the Javelin, it was about control, you know? And it was about introducing a foreign element that's known by a lot of people to not be what they say it is, and are you really going to put this inside you or not?
Correct.
You know? Well, and he caused it, and that's Esau Edom being a cunning, crafty serpent, going back to the garden. You shall surely not die. That's he's telling people, hey, you shall surely not die. You'll be good. You'll be all good. Soccer players collapsing left and right. The niggas is supposed to be the most healthiest person on the planet. In the prime of their life. Nigga running up and down the soccer field 30 miles and 40 miles a month, man. Probably 100 miles with all the games they're doing. With all that running. And the nigga just collapsed. Why? How? When? Where?
Athletic, like the most athletic people.
Yeah. I mean, but if we expose it, if we say, why? Oh, that's misinformation. Well, isn't what you told the nigga before he fell out, isn't that misinformation? You told him you should surely not die. You gonna be good, man. That's the devil for you, man. And that shows you that Esau Edom is the devil, man. He's the son of perdition, man. And then shall that wicked be revealed. Well, he's being revealed right now through the prophets. And you also have the heathens. The spirit of the Lord is within everything. As far as the incorruptible spirit is in all things. The spirit hops in the heathen to be like, yeah, man. Yeah, I don't trust them as well, man. Yeah, Elam's like, man, I don't know, man.
That on the media too.
China's like, man, yeah. The spirit hopped on the Chinese dude, the Moabites, to be like, you mistreat black people, man.
Oh, God, I seen that. God.
That's the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai is in all things, man. Now these heathens aren't going to understand the word, but the spirit hops on them to say some real shit. They'll say some trill shit, as they say in the streets. They'll keep it 100 every now and then. Moab, you go to Moab's restaurant, they'll hook you up some good chicken. It may not be
big as hell.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta watch it though, because it may not be chicken. That's why you can't trust Moab. But back to the lesson. Nothing being silly. We having fun at the same time. We bringing it out. This is Executive Order 11004. Allows the Housing and Financial Authority to relocate communities. Well, what do you have a lot of our people on? Public housing, welfare, WIC, women, infants, and children, the projects, the barrio, the reservations. That's the curses, man. You're going to be the tail. They're going to be the head. But also the blessing is going to us being the head and them being the tail. And that switch is happening, man. Can you get Sirach 10 and 8, brother? Get 10 and 4 and then 10 and 8. Let's go into these bullet points and then we'll wrap on up. How long we been on here? Oh, damn. It felt like the hour been down here too. Time flies when you're having fun, man. This is fun to us, man. We love doing this work. This is our life. This is what we've been called to do. And it also says in the scriptures, I have finished my course. We need to finish the course. Perfection is achieved when you finish, man. What do they say about the dude that falls out in the finish line as far as the Olympics, man? I mean, talking about the dude that's like running the 100-meter dash and he trips and falls. Well, the other person gets the gold. They stand up on the podium, man. And, he's just the dude on the side with the scratched up legs, the joints all bloody. You know what I'm saying? He's on the center stage falling. You don't want to be that dude, man. As far as people learning from you, then you fall out, man. They should be castaway, You know what I'm saying? Want to be if I preach not the gospel, man. I think it's 1 Corinthians 9:16. I'm gonna get that. And woe is destruction. That's what you don't want. That's the spirit that went right to it. 1 Corinthians 9 and 16. And it reads, for though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me. Woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel. Destruction is unto us if we don't get off our ass and make ourselves useful, man. We need to get off your behind and do something. And if you know this truth, like Apostle Nahar said, if you know 2 precepts, we'll bring those 2 precepts out, man. That's deep to the average Jake that don't know what's going on. And as you pray to Heavenly Father for more of the Spirit, He'll add,
You want to bring out 10 and 4?
Yeah, come on.
This is a book power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
Yep, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. It also says in Proverbs, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, man. You know? And these Edomites, these wicked people, you know, as far as the elites, like the bug out Judite chick said, she might have been evil. You know, what's going on, elites? You know, and then she was calling out Apostle Tahar and all the elders and so on and so forth. And that's a scary thing, because it shows you that she heard the truth and she was rejected, man. You know, she was rejected, man. And she was hurt, miserable, through, cut to the core. You know, Hebrews 4 and 12. Let me get this first. Proverbs 21. Slock it. Stay patient. Proverbs. Come on, pages. Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart is in the hand of Adonai Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whatsoever he will. And the king's heart, the king's mind, and the rulers of this world's mind is in the hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They think that they're actually going to win, but they have a sore judgment coming for them. And that shows you that they're the wicked, because it says that the wicked is puffed up with pride. You know, that's the number one characteristic of the nation of Esau Edom. He's compared to as the eagle, and he's a prideful man. What's the eagle known for? Known to be a prideful bird, and that eagle is symbolic of Esau Edom. Second Ezra, the 11th chapter. You know, the Greeks. You know. Ezekiel, the 17th chapter. That eagle that came to pluck the 2 twigs. That eagle is Esau Edom. Also, Deuteronomy 28 and 49. I will send a nation from afar as swift as the eagle flieth. What was on the Spanish flag? What's on the American flag? What's on the coin of Greece? What's on the coin of Rome? The eagle. Yep. Oh yeah, bro. Slock it. We just rolling through the spirit. Brothers lighting it up. Phone's about to die. Hey, Wadi Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for the spirit to get out here. Call on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Water for the precepts, brother. Phone's about to die. We may not read them all. All right, so right there. What's the 10? Shalom, Wadi Yahweh Bashem Yahushai back to that. Love it, right?
Yeah, no, it's right here. It's bottom part.
Want to get off your phone?
It's right here. He asked because 18 and 3.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. Who good? 18 and 1. Get the whole thing. Yep. I'll check it real quick. Sirach 18 and 3. That was my jam back in the day. I ain't gonna front. This is Sirach 18 and 3. Who governeth that world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will, for he is the king of all, for by his power dividing holy things among them from the profane, separating the clean from the unclean. You know, and that's what he's doing. You know, he's separating the clean from the unclean in the nation of Israel, and also the clean from the unclean as far as the heathen nation to catch their judgment from the sons of God, from the house of David, man. And we're looking to be preserved, man, because for we know the terror of the Lord. I'll just get it real quick. You know, we persuade men because we know the terror of the Lord, man. We know these plagues are coming, man. We know. I'll just get it real quick. I think it's 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. Might be 7. Yeah. Shalom, Aki Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Barakatah. Get the next bullet points and we'll wrap on up before the phone dies. Yep.
I don't know what you got about that.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me get this precept real quick before I forget it. Touching out the spirit. This is 2 Corinthians 5 and man, I hate when that happens. Yep. Look up on your phone, know the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. I want to say 1 Corinthians.
That second.
Second?
Right.
Man, I hate when that happens.
2 Corinthians 5 and 11.
Oh man, that was close. 2 Corinthians 5 and 11. And it reads, knowing therefore the terror of Adonai Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto Yahweh, and I trust also are made manifest into your consciousness, man. And we know the terror of the Lord because he's spirit of Yahweh Shemiah Shai allowed us to have our eyes be opened up and have the eyes out, man. And all we are is vessels, used by Yahweh Shemiah Shai to go out here and get warning, man. This is a blessing to have this understanding. You see, I just put the camera on the public out here, man. This Jake is through. Got Jake out here, whatever she doing. Eve right there, Elon right here selling the stones and whatnot. He actually got some good stones. I bought a stone from him before. But 2/3 of our people, man, they're just out here gone. And this is a crowded marketplace. Like, this place is popping, especially on Sunday, But a lot of our people, they just can't receive this word, man. They walk right by us, and just think we're bugged out dudes in dresses, man. We gonna see. We gonna see. This is New World Order, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. I'll get a few of these bullet points. The end, it says one world government, Novus Ordo Seclorum, That's what they plan on doing with this digital grid, Also, one world cashless society. Oh, that was Yashawama just came on. Oh, man. That's the spirit. We're wrapping up. Yeah, we're about to close out. And it goes, one world central bank, one world military, the end of national sovereignty, the end of all privately owned property. You will own nothing to be happy. Depopulation, control of population growth and population density. What happened the past 2 years is a big part of that. This is a mandatory Kool-Aid, and then the mandatory MOTB. They don't put that in here. Oh, it says, yep, MOTB, Society for Purchasing, Travel, Tracking, and Controlling.
Wow.
And this is a bullet point agenda that they have. You can look this up.
No conspiracies right there.
And it goes into human beings concentrated into human settlement zones, cities, the relocation facilities, the camps, the end of private farms and raising livestock. We came out with that article. We came out with that information in the Great Reset article. They want to introduce genetically modified solutions, 3D printed solutions, They want to limit the beef consumption that you have. You're eating too much beef. They want you to eat synthetic, lab-grown, 3D printed meat, that's been, punched up with the javelin, Is that wrong? Yeah, it's definitely not.
Look at call.
Yeah, look at calls.
Look at call.
You put the tipple right there, though?
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah. This is the end of single-family homes, restricted land use that serves human needs. So we just wanted to go into a prophecy update, with a few articles and tidbits of information and so on and so forth, and just going to the scriptures, man. So I don't Ratazah, Yahweh Ratazah, you found this camp session edifying. Lord's will, it was edifying. That's what everything's all about. Let all things be done in the edifying. And in closing on out, we'll turn to the east and give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makamodah. Double honors to the head apostles of Great Millstone, who do rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom unto the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect, the men, women, and children listening and learning from the servants of prophecy, Yahweh Shemiah Shai, and the hearty shalom to the sincere brethren doing the work of truth and sincerity across the four winds of the earth, giving diligence to make their calling and election sure. So this is the brother Ashamat,
Brother Matthew Zayan.
and we'd like to close on out. On our Ratazah, Yahweh Ratazah, you were edified. And until next time, next live stream, next lesson, Shalom, GTA, Wa, Abba, Abba. Soon. Shalom. Yahweh Shemiah Shai, Barakatah, Wa, Thumb. To everybody that tuned in, that commented, and didn't comment. Lord's will, you were edified. Salak if we didn't get all the precepts. Sometimes we just be in the spirit, and that's how it rolls. Hey, Shalom, Mark. Karatazah. Hey, Shalom. Yeah. Shalom, Mark. Yahweh Shemiah Shai, Barakatah, Wa, Thumb. GTA, Baba Ball. So, Shalom. Yahweh Shemiah Shai, Barakatah.